I never thought my mom could destroy my life in one night, but she did and smiled while doing it. I was 22 working at her husband's company. He was the kind of man who wore fake charm like cologne. Everyone thought he was this generous CEO, but behind closed doors, he was a manipulative jerk who treated employees like dirt, especially me. One night, a client accused me of stealing $8,000 from an account I never even had access to. I was stunned. I begged my mom to believe me. Instead, she stood beside him, cold and silent. He told her I'd even acting suspicious. She nodded. She nodded. By the next morning, I was fired, blacklisted, and kicked out of the apartment they paid for. No explanation, no goodbye hug. Just a text from Mom. You need to take responsibility for your actions. I slept in my car for 3 weeks. Every call I made went unanswered. She blocked me. Her husband told everyone I had a problem with money. I lost job offers, friends, everything. Fast forward 5 years, I rebuilt my life slowly. Painfully working 2 jobs, then launching a small business in tech. Last week, I got a call from an unknown number. It was my mom. Her voice trembled. She said her husband had messed things up, and they were about to lose everything. She wanted to reconnect. I hung up, but she keeps calling. And part of me, the part that still remembers that night, wants to let her suffer. So Reddit AITA for refusing to help my mom. Now that her world is collapsing. After she destroyed mine, I didn't answer her next few calls. But she didn't stop every day. Another voicemail. The first few were pleading. Then came guilt. Then anger. You're being childish, you know. Family forgives. I'm your mother, for God's sake. But here's the thing, she stopped being my mother the moment she watched me fall and did nothing. One night, I finally listened to one of her newer voicemails. Her voice was different. Shaky, small. Honey, please. He has gone. He left me with nothing. I don't know where else to go. I almost left. He left her, the same man she destroyed my life to protect. The irony was too perfect. But curiosity got the better of me. I looked him up. His company had collapsed. Amid a massive fraud investigation. News articles, court filings, everything. Turns out he'd been funneling company money into fake accounts, the same accusation that once ruined me. He fled the country. She was left behind, broke alone. Her house under foreclosure. Part of me wanted to drive over there, just to watch her face when I told her. Now, you know how it feels. But another part of me, the part that still remembered Sunday mornings when she used to braid my hair, or the birthday cakes she made from scratch, wanted to know if she was okay. So I sent one text, "What do you want from me?" She replied instantly. Just dinner. Please, I shouldn't have gone. I told myself it was closure, that I needed to see her one last time before I moved on for good. But when she opened the door that night, I barely recognized her. The woman who once wore designer heels and diamond bracelets now looked small, frail with dark circles and trembling hands. "Hi," she whispered. "You look successful." The guilt in her voice almost sounded real. Almost. Because 10 minutes later, after a few tears and awkward hugs, she said the words that made my blood freeze. "I just need a small loan. Just until I get back on my feet." I realized then she hadn't called because she missed me. She called because she needed me. I stared at her across the table. The same woman who once told me to learn from my mistakes. Now she sat there fidgeting with a napkin. asking me for money like I was her last hope. "How much?" I asked flatly. She hesitated. "Just maybe 50,000. Enough to keep the house until I can sell it." 50,000. When she kicked me out, I barely had $50. I leaned back. "Why not ask one of your friends or your husband?" "Oh, wait." She flinched, eyes darting down. "He drained our accounts before disappearing." I didn't. He'd know what he was doing. I swear I wanted to believe her. But I'd heard that tone before, the same soft, helpless tone she used when defending him years ago. "He didn't mean to fire you, sweetheart." It's complicated. Complicated. That word had destroyed me. I sipped my drink slowly. "Do you remember what you said when I begged you to believe me?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Please don't," you said. "You need to take responsibility for your actions." Remember that? She nodded, whispering something I couldn't make out. I waited, but she didn't apologize. Not really. She just looked tired. Broken. That night, I didn't give her anything. I paid for dinner and left. But as I sat in my car outside the restaurant, I couldn't shake this unease. There was something about her story that didn't add up. A week later, I got a call from an unknown number again. This time, it wasn't her. It was her neighbor, an older lady named Linda, who remembered me from when I was a teenager. "Sweetheart," she said quietly, "your mother has been having strange visitors. Men in suits. They come late at night. I think she is in trouble." Trouble? The kind of trouble money doesn't fix. I wanted to ignore it. I told myself she made her bed. But that night when I checked my email, I saw something that froze me. A message from her account. No subject. Just a single line. "They said they come after you next." I stared at that email for hours, rereading the same sentence until the words blurred. The come after you next. Who were they? I called her number. No answer. Texted nothing. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I drove to her old house. The gate was open, the front door cracked. My chest tightened as I walked in. The place smelled like dust and cheap perfume. The furniture half gone, boxes everywhere. "Mom," I called out. No answer. I found her in the kitchen, sitting at the table, pale and shaking. Her phone was in her hand, screen cracked. Her eyes were red, not from crying, but from fear. "They came last night," she whispered. "They asked about him, about the money." It hit me then, the fraud investigation. The missing millions he hadn't. He'd just stolen from his company. He'd stolen from people who don't forgive debts easily. She clutched my hand. "I didn't he know?" "I swear." "He said everything was taken care of. But when he left, She paused, trembling. "He left something behind, a drive. He said if anything ever happened, I should give it to me." She nodded, reaching into her purse. Out came a small silver USB stick, taped with a label that read, "For when you're ready." I took it. Heart pounding. "Why me?" "Because he said you'd know what to do." I left before the man came back. My mind was spinning. None of it made sense. Why would my stepdad trust me? The person he destroyed that night. I plugged the drive into my laptop. It was encrypted, but the first folder wasn't he. Inside was one document named confession.do. I opened it and felt my blood go cold. It wasn't he, written by him. It was written by my mother. And the first line said, "I let him frame you." I thought it would protect us. I couldn't breathe as I scrolled through her confession. The words blurred, but the meaning hit like a train. He said if I didn't, he'd help him. He'd come after us. Didn't he know what else to do? I thought if I let him use your name, he'd stop. He promised he'd clear it later. She let him use my name. She gave him access to my employee account. She knew I'd be blamed. Each line was worse than the last. She wrote about secret meetings, fake transactions, and a deal that went wrong. Apparently, her husband had been laundering money for private investors, dangerous ones. When an audit began, he needed a scapegoat, and my mother volunteered me. He said it was temporary, that he'd fix it. I just wanted to keep you safe. Safe. That word nearly made me laugh out loud. I slammed my laptop shut and sat there in silence, shaking. For years, I thought I was just collateral damage in his mess. But no, my own mother chose me. I drove to her house the next morning, gripping that flash drive so tight it left marks on my palm. She opened the door slowly like she expected me. "I read it," I said. Her face crumpled then, you know. I never wanted to stop. My voice cracked. "You let him ruin me. You watched me lose everything." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I thought I was saving your life. Those men, they would be killed. Him killed us," he said. "You'd go to jail for a few months." And then I stepped back. "You thought prison was better than death?" She didn't answer. Just whispered, "I'm sorry." Sorry. That word was years too late. I left without saying another word. But later that night, sitting alone in my apartment, I kept staring at the flash drive. Because there was one more folder I hadn't opened, one that required a password. And then it hit me. The label on the drive for when you're ready. I typed ready. It unlocked. Inside were hundreds of files, transaction logs, offshore accounts, even names. And one folder stood out, backup payoffs. It contained proof that her husband had paid off, not just auditors, but police officers. This wasn't just fraud. It was a full-scale cover-up. And I was holding the evidence that could bring everything and everyone down. I stared at the files until dawn. Each document was another nail in the coffin. Offshore accounts, fake invoices, shell companies registered under aliases I recognized from old business cards. My stepfather's empire wasn't just built on lies. It was a monument to corruption. But the deeper I looked, the clearer it became. My mother wasn't innocent either. Her signature appeared on multiple transfers. Some of them were dated after I was fired. She'd continued helping him, even when she knew what he'd done to me. That morning, I called an old friend from college, Tyler, who now worked as an investigative journalist. I told him I had something big, something involving corporate fraud and police payoffs. He met me that afternoon in a quiet coffee shop. When I handed him a copy of the drive, he scrolled through it, his eyes widening. "Holy hell," he whispered. "This could take down half the board of that company. Maybe more. Can it be traced back to me?" I asked. "Maybe the metadata shows you as the last editor." "You will need to be careful." He promised to verify everything discreetly. I wanted to believe him, but part of me knew once this went public, there'd be no going back. My mother would go down with them. That night she called again. I almost didn't pick up, please. She begged. "They're watching me. I saw a car outside last night." You don't understand who these people are." Her voice trembled, and for a moment, I heard genuine fear, not manipulation fear. "What did you do, Mom?" I asked quietly. "I took money from them," she whispered. "After he left, I thought it was the same investors I needed to survive. But now they want it back." I froze. "How much? 200,000? $200,000. I sank onto the couch, hand over my face. It wasn't he just guilt or pity anymore. It was disbelief. Every time she claimed she was trying to survive, she kept digging deeper. "Mom," I said, "finally, if I turn this drive over, the LL come after both of us." Silence. Then, in a voice so small I barely recognized it, she said, "Maybe that's what we deserve." For the first time, I didn't hear excuses. I heard surrender. It happened. 3 days later, I woke up to a dozen missed calls, a flood of notifications, and one headline that made my stomach drop: "Exclusive CEO's secret empire exposed. Millions laundered through shell accounts." Right below the headline was Tyler S. byline. My so-called friend, hadn't he waited for my permission, he'd gone public. The article included screenshots from the drive. Names, numbers, dates. Even the part with my mother's signature. By noon, the story was everywhere. Major outlets, Reddit threads, podcasts dissecting every detail. My inbox exploded with interview requests. And then my phone buzzed again. "An unknown number, you shouldn't have done that." Just 5 words. No name. My heart pounded. I checked outside my window. Nothing unusual. Still, I packed a bag and drove to a cheap motel outside the city. A few hours later, I saw it on the news. Federal agents raiding the old office building. My stepfather was reportedly under investigation abroad. My mother's name wasn't T in the headlines yet, but I knew it was only a matter of time. When I finally got her on the phone, she was crying. They came to the house. They took everything. My passport, my laptop. I can't breathe. I can't. "Mom," I said, trying to stay calm, "you need to hide for a while. Hide where I don't even have money for gas." I closed my eyes. This was the woman who ruined me, and yet I couldn't let her die for it. I wired her a few $1,000s under a fake name, told her to leave town and stay off social media. That night, I got another message, this time from Tyler. "You were right. There is more to this. I think someone inside. Law enforcement is trying to cover the rest. Be careful. Be careful." Too late for that the next morning. I went to grab coffee from the motel lobby. When I came back, my door was cracked open. The lock was broken. I stepped inside slowly, every nerve on fire. The room was trashed. My laptop was gone and on the bed. Taped to the headboard was a small note. "We warned you, your mother is next." I drove to my mother's house at dawn. The place looked abandoned, curtains drawn, mailbox overflowing. A faint smell of smoke in the air. I called her name, pounded on the door. Nothing. Then I saw it, a side window cracked open. I climbed through and froze. The living room was ransacked, drawers pulled out, photos torn from frames. Even the couch cushions slashed. Whoever had come here, wasn't he looking for money? They wanted information. "Mom," I whispered. No answer. Her phone lay shattered on the floor near the kitchen. Next to it, a folded note sealed with masking tape. My name was written across it in her handwriting. I tore it open. If you're reading this, the VE found me. I'm sorry for everything. For what I did to you, for what I became. There is one more drive hidden in the attic vent. It has everything, names, payments, even police involvement. Give it to the reporter. And this, don't look for me. My hands shook as I climbed up to the attic. The air was thick with dust and insulation. I pried open the vent cover and found a small metal box inside the second drive. But as I climbed down, I heard it. Footsteps outside. Slow, deliberate. I peeked through the blinds. Two men in black suits stood near my car, one talking on a phone, the other scanning the yard. My pulse spiked. I grabbed the drive, slipped out the back door, and ran through the neighbor's yard. I didn't T-stop until I reached my car, parked 2 streets over. Once inside, I called Tyler. "They have her," I said, breathless. She's gone. But she left another drive. He was silent for a long time. Then he said quietly, "Don't bring it here. You can't trust anyone right now, not even me." That line chilled me more than the men in suits. "Tyler, what are you talking about?" "There is chatter that the leak came from inside the investigation. Someone high up. They think you're holding the master files, the ones that could expose everyone. They want you to stop." My grip tightened on the wheel. "Then what do I do?" he sighed. "You disappear before they make you do it the hard way." For 2 weeks, I moved like a ghost. No phone, no credit cards. No routine. Just motels, gas stations, and paranoia. Every time I saw a black SUV, my pulse spiked. Every time someone stared too long, I imagined a gun under their jacket. Tyler went underground too. He texted me from burner numbers, always with short messages. They're watching bank transfers. Stave off Wi-Fi. Someone leaked your license plate? I thought my mother was dead. I did come to terms with that, or at least I was trying to. Then one night, an email popped into my encrypted inbox. No sender, no subject. Just a video attachment. The file name was do not trust anyone.mp. I hesitated, then opened it. The image flickered to life. A dim motel room, shaky camera, and my mother sitting on the bed, whispering like someone might be listening. "Hi, sweetheart," she said softly. "If you're watching this, I'm alive for now." She looked thinner, her hair messy. But her eyes were sharper than I'd ever seen them. "I know you found the second drive," she continued. "Good, you need to understand something. Those files, they don't just incriminate your stepfather. They connect politicians, banks, even law enforcement. It's bigger than either of us." She leaned closer to the camera. "Tyler isn't who you think he is." My blood ran cold. She pulled out a photo, grainy but clear enough. Tyler standing next to one of the men in suits. "I saw at her house, he works for them." She whispered, "He has been using you to get the drives. That first leak, he did it to flush me out. He knew I had the real evidence." I paused the video, heart pounding. Could she be lying again, manipulating me like before? Or was this the one time she was finally telling the truth? I replayed the clip. The last thing she said before the video cut off. It was barely audible. "If you want to find me, go to where it all began. The lake house, the lake house." The same one where she and my stepfather used to take me every summer before everything fell apart. I looked at the second drive, sitting on the table beside me. If Tyler was working for them, then going to him would be suicide. But going to her might be worse. I drove for hours. The second drive, burning in my backpack, every turn a gamble. By the time I reached the lake house, twilight had settled, painting the water silver. Memories hit me: the summers, the laughter, the feeling that nothing could touch us there. The door was unlocked. I stepped inside cautiously. The place was mostly empty, but in the living room she sat calm, composed, watching the lake through the sliding glass door. "Mom," I said, my voice low. "Why here?" She didn't answer immediately. She finally turned, eyes steady. "Because it's the one place we were safe. And because this is where the truth ends or begins. You decide." I set the drive on the table. "Tell me the truth. Tyler, the journalists, were you lying to me?" She took a deep breath. "I never lied about the drives. Tyler, he has a reporter." "Yes, but he has been playing both sides. He wants the story, bigger than just the companies or the money. He wants the scandal, and he'll discard anyone in the way, including me." I stared at her. Part of me wanted to yell. Part of me wanted to hug her. But I didn't. "And you, why do you let him destroy me?" Her eyes glistened because I was terrified. "I thought protecting us meant sacrificing you. I was wrong. But I also couldn't stop him alone. Now you have the choice. You can hand the drives to Tyler. Or you can do something else." I opened the drive. Inside were spreadsheets, emails, all the evidence. But I noticed something new. A hidden folder labeled Safe Harbor. Inside was a list of anonymous donations, offshore accounts, even passwords to fake identities. Whoever made this, she or my stepfather, had planned contingencies. A way out. I looked at her. "This could save you and ruin Tyler, the reporters, anyone who comes after us." She nodded. "I trust you now. Do what you think is right. But remember, vengeance changes people." I swallowed hard. I took a deep breath. Then I wiped the drives clean and encrypted them, sending a secure copy to a lawyer I trusted, one who could protect both of us. Tyler never got the files. For the first time in years, I felt in control. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need forgiveness. I looked at her, frail but alive, determined but humbled. "You survived this," I said softly. "We survived," she corrected, a small smile forming. Outside, the lake was calm. The night sky reflected on the water. The past was still there, but for once, it didn't have the power to drown us. We had each other, and for the first time, that was enough.